Lastly, as part of our consultation, we also asked tenants if they had any suggestions or regular feedback on the recharge policy, and tenants did come back with quite a few. One was more inspections, sometimes without warning, and I'm not sure legally, is that possible or?
Well, what we can't do is enter into a property in a normal course of our business without giving the tenant reasonable notice, and we'd never want to do that. The only situation in which we would ask for immediate access would be an example of when there's a leak coming into a property below, and it's quite obviously it's going to cause damage to the building. We may need to say we need immediate access. That's a very odd, extreme situation. If we're out and about in the borough, we might knock on their door if we know a tenant wants us to look at something or we want to speak to them. But if they said to us it's not convenient, come back tomorrow, that's absolutely fine. But I think this has raised the really important question of, are we carrying out enough inspections, and are we looking at homes to see they are being kept in a good condition? And one of the things that we've got in our plan moving forward is that we will be doing more inspections for new tenants. We'll be carrying out more inspections where we've identified the person struggling with their tenancy to see what support they need to allow things not to deteriorate. And specifically, as soon as we get notice that a tenancy is going to be brought to an end, we're going to go out then and visit. We'll do a checkout report. We'll talk to the tenant about any items that are rechargeable. Some of those they may be able to get fixed themselves in the meantime, and then at least they won't be surprised when they get the charges, and we'll explain to them that the property needs to be left empty and obviously make suggestions to them about how they can do this. So I think if we go out 4 weeks before the end of a tenancy, then there'll be a much better interaction and communication with tenants about what needs to be done.
Yeah, and like you said earlier, it's not about catching tenants out like these inspections, isn't it? It's generally about helping, supporting, and trying to answer the important question of like, what can we do to help you to manage your home? The other suggestion was about blocked toilets and about how when a toilet's blocked, they call out for repair and it costs us money. Is this a way to save money? And it raised a discussion about perhaps providing tools to tenants and practical solutions.
I think this is the kind of thing we might look at, but then again, proportionately, if we gave everyone a tool, the cost of that would outweigh the practicality. But I think what we're looking at much more information for tenants, and particularly new tenants, people who haven't had a tenancy before. Simple things like toilets and sinks, what you don't put down them. So you don't put makeup pads down things, you don't put nappies, it seems obvious. You don't use air fresheners and things that are clipped onto the side of the toilet, which then get caught in the pipework. So I think what we will be looking to do is a lot of more pre-tenancy work, things that seem quite simple, that someone thinks I'm going to be, keeping a good clean house, and they hook something on the toilet and then 5 weeks later the toilet's blocked. So I think we're going to look on preventative education much more for people, and understanding the use of their own property.
Thank you. Then another one which I thought was interesting was reusing and recycling of unwanted objects that are cleared in voids. And I like the fact that it's environmentally aware. So do we have any advice on that so far?
Well, we do occasionally do this. The main thing is that once we have the keys back, the clock is ticking, and any days that property's void, we're not getting rent, and we're under pressure to turn that around very quickly. So where there are obvious things that could be used, we do sometimes get those things taken away by charities. But really, I think we'll be working with residents so that when they, instead of having to recharge a resident because they've left something, we're working with them to get them recycled while they're still in the property. The problem with a lot of furniture is, if it doesn't have with it the correct fire certificates, particularly soft furnishings, even things like dining chairs that have got a cover on, then no charities or anyone can resell that furniture. So quite a lot of things in good condition aren't actually reusable. So we would like to encourage that, but at the moment we'll be doing that through referring to all the charities that we engage with, because we make a lot of referrals to new incoming people for furniture. So it's in our interest to upcycle things back to those charities, but we couldn't afford to have a service of taking those things out and redistributing them, because all those costs again come back into our bank account.
And I know at the beginning that you explained about how the time it takes to empty a property and to clear a property and the gardens and everything, and some tenants came back to say this was a way, the recharge policy was a way that the council is squeezing more money out of the tenants, and it's not that, is it? It's more of a sense of trying to decrease that time.
I can understand that, because people are paying their rent, and within their rent, if you're a council tenant, then you get your repairs done. And I think it's very important to stress that in the tenancy agreement, then we've got our obligations, which we are carrying out, and then there are the tenant's obligations. So these are only where the tenant has not used the property in the manner that they should, and there's been neglect or damage. I think it's really important to know that over the next 5 years, we're going to be spending around £60 million in upgrading our properties with new doors, kitchens, bathrooms, roofs, pathways. A huge amount of work is going to be carried out, but we need to get that money from the rent. And every year annually, if we lose £60,000, for instance, in clearing properties, that's £60,000, that's 12 new bathrooms or kitchens, well, it's bathrooms, that we won't be able to carry out for other tenants. So this is more about us making best use of the rent that's coming in and ensuring that tenants who manage their homes well get those upgrades and get their property repaired as they should, that process isn't slowed down because we're spending too much fixing properties that other people have neglected. So it's much more about providing best value to tenants than trying to not meet our own obligations as a landlord.
Great. Well, thank you, Maggie. I think that's going through all the feedback that we've received so far. So thank you for joining me today.
Thank you. And it is excellent, Kate. This is the first consultation that we've had actually a very good response from tenants. And I think we were able to look at that and feed it back in and ensure that the policy reflected what residents wanted to see. So I think, it's been an excellent exercise for us.
Awesome. We've got to appreciate all the tenants that came back to us, because obviously us not being the tenants need their perspective to ensure that we do it right. So yeah, thank you to you and all the residents and tenants that came back to us.
Okay. Thank you.